Welcome, everybody, to Muddy Roots Podcast. We are your hosts, Rob, Gage, Ryan, and Vil. Today we are going to be talking about the importance of Kava and where it started. And let's go ahead and start off by introducing ourselves. We'll go this way, Gage, and then work our way back. But first, take a cup. I like that.
All right, what's up, y'all? My name is Gage Afatasi. I'm married. Been married for about 3 years now. I've known these guys for quite some time. Vil and I just, about maybe a year?
Yeah, about a year.
About a year. Known Vil for about a year.
Shit.
Yeah.
Time flies by.
It does.
It does. Feels like forever.
I know.
But
It flies by and it feels like forever.
No, it feels like you guys just barely met each other, like not even 6 months ago.
Oh, for me, it feels like I've known you forever.
I agree. I feel like it flies by and it feels like forever.
that's a good quote. Good job, guys. No, that's it, really.
Where did you grow up?
Oh, basically St. George. Born in Salt Lake City. So, yeah, excited to be here. Happy to get this rolling. Been a long time coming.
Hell yeah.
Yep. I'm Ryan. Been in the Air Force for 6 years, 7 years, going on 8. Just ready to start this first episode.
So I'm Vil Tui. Like Gage said, I moved to St. George. Well, I moved to St. George like 6 years ago. Hung out with you guys about a year ago with you guys. Hung out with Rob. It's probably about 3 or 4 years now.
4.
But yeah, just like these guys, excited to get up here, record, and get this going. So.
And I am Rob. I'm 27 years old. Yeah, we've all pretty much just said how long we've known each other. We moved over here from Hawaii in like 05, 06, somewhere around there.
Around there.
And yeah, I think other than you, I think I've known you the longest.
Other than your brother?
Other than my brother.
This guy, the guy behind the curtain.
Yeah.
But
So for the viewers that don't know what this is right here, would you guys like to explain what we're drinking and what it does to you?
yeah, I'll start. From my understanding is that Kava is a root plant that we extract, we dry, we crush up in powder form, and then you mix it in water with a strainer. But the whole purpose of this is to relax your body. From what I've known growing up is it helps reduce stress, and I feel like it kind of does.
And anxiety.
And anxiety.
It's
and I
a
feel like
bunch
it
of stuff.
works.
Yeah.
But that's what I've known growing up. I also know that the Tongan peoples and the Samoan people, they use it for like a ceremonial celebration kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So yeah, that's as far as I know.
Like we usually like mix like after rugby games, and like whenever we get together, it's just a easy thing to do without getting drunk too fast. You still can hang out, but the way it tastes, tastes like
awful.
It tastes like dirt water, like actually
it
dirt
really
water.
does taste like dirt water.
But you said you can drink it without getting like drunk. I don't feel like it gets you drunk. It's a different type. Yeah, it's really it's almost like if you were to take like melatonin.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I've never tried melatonin.
It's just sleep aid, but it makes you relaxed. It's no different than some of the medicine we have, but this practice or this tradition dates back like 3,000 years. That's according to my research.
Have you
According to Wikipedia.
I also know that there's like different kinds of kava fades. Like some kavas make you almost feel like more drunk. So I didn't know the terminology until I did some research, but there are like, they call them like heady kavas that are more just in your head. They kind of make you feel floaty, make you feel airy. And then there's the hardy ones that are more like affect your whole body. So people will take the hardy ones if like you got like pains or anything in your body because it'll numb your body that way. So yeah, there's different fades as well. You can, I mean, we call it faded when we get to that point. I've heard some people say they get Kava-fied or
Kava-fied. I've heard that.
Yeah. So like there's some different terminology. I mean, I like saying faded. That's always what I've said. But
So what do you think this one is?
I like the heady ones. I don't like the ones that make my body feel like super numb.
I could agree.
'Cause
Yeah.
I also think the hangovers are way worse.
Yeah.
When you have those ones. Also with kava, no matter if it's heady or hearty, I think if you don't drink a lot of water, we've seen people become dehydrated. And I think there was a guy on the news not too long ago, like he was in the politics somewhere, but he was in a kava ceremony and ended up having to get driven to the hospital.
I think I saw that too.
Yeah.
What was the reasoning?
I think it was just dehydration. That's what I read.
I think it was.
So it was not even kava related. It was just he doesn't drink water. The only water he gets is from kava.
Yeah. Well, no, and he was
That's
a white
the
guy.
other thing,
He was a white guy.
I don't think he'd ever mixed before. I think that was his first time. So either dehydration or faking it to get out of there.
That's the other thing. So you have to
boring as
stay
hell.
hydrated. You got to stay hydrated.
Do you guys know the history behind this? Like, would anyone want to explain the history?
Yeah, I did
So
some.
like
I
Gage
did some
said,
research.
it's old. It's like there's articles and there's stuff dating back to 1616 is some of the earliest stuff we've seen.
Damn, 1660?
Yeah, so according to this, there was some Dutch navigators that observed Kava in 1616, and then there's more stuff in there's a museum in London that has some stuff that date back to 1769. So yeah, according to this article, and I'm interested to see what you guys found out, but it started in the island Vanuatu, or yeah, what the hell, Vanuatu, and since then it's just slowly spread across the island. Started in the islands and then moved out.
So I did some research, and there's also a YouTube video out. It's called The Legend of Kava.
Mm-hmm.
I think I told you about it, but
Yeah, that story is interesting. I like it.
so there's a little family in the island, and it was just a mom, a dad, and a daughter. The dad's Fevanga, the mom's Faifafa, and then the daughter's Kava. And one day the king of Tonga had sent his men out to go fishing for food, but they stumbled upon an island, which is the island that they were on. And in that island, it was just only those three. There was nothing else. There's no, I don't think that there was any wildlife, any like birds or whatever for them to hunt. All they did was just plant. In the video, you can see them just planting. The daughter just bringing water back and forth just to bring it to life. Well, when the king of Tonga came on the island, he said he was gonna go rest, and so the king's men said that they were gonna go find food. So when they were searching around the island for food, they came across Fevanga and the wife, and the king's men was asking, "Oh, where can we get food? We're trying to prepare a feast for the king." Fevanga said that it's okay, we'll take care of it. We'll prepare the feast, and then so they didn't even look for food. They were depending on Fevanga. But when the Fevanga was talking to the wife, come to find out that there's no food. All there is that there's just like snakes and rats, but you'd have to try pretty hard just to catch them and stuff. So they couldn't put forth the what you call, or they couldn't like give them a feast, so they would relate to the next best thing, which is sacrifice. And so they Fevanga sacrificed the daughter. And when Fevanga sacrificed the daughter, I guess the king's men and the daughter kind of like had a thing. They kind of fell for each other. But when the king's men kind of realized that he didn't see Kava anywhere, he sent his other guys to go look for him. As soon as they found him, they found the king sitting right next to the wife, and the dad is kind of like packing the ground, and so he already knew that he sacrificed the daughter. So when the man told the king kind of like, he was like shocked. He goes, "Well, I appreciate your guys' love and your loyalty. From this day on, this ground is sacred ground. It'll be your ceremonial burial for your daughter." And as they left, mom and dad came back, and when they came back, they found 2 plants on the grave, one at the head and one at the toe. And it signified as the sugarcane and the kava root. And so they didn't know what it was, so they kept watering it. Day by day, as day went on, they found a little rat that would come in and nibbled on the kava root. And when they seen that, they saw the rat kind of like drunken step or whatever to the sugarcane, and then took a nibble out of that, and then was perfectly fine. So that right there, that's what they use for like peace treaties, for ceremonial celebrations. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but in the Kingdom of Tonga, in their celebration, their ceremonial celebration, they use the sugarcane and they use the kava roots. So that's what I found. I stumbled on that on YouTube, and it was, I couldn't stop watching it.
I actually read that same story. Yeah,
That's really interesting.
That's crazy.
Could you imagine if that was me? Like, I got sacrificed back then, and then they named the root like Ryan, and you guys would just be drinking Ryan. That shit would be so crazy. We just named it after the daughter that died, just because it was growing on her headstone.
yeah.
Gross.
Okay, let's get together and drink Ryan.
Yeah, no, thank you.
But no, yeah. I mean, I think another thing about kava is it brings a lot of guys together. I think that's why it's became so popular and so big. And that's why there's so many kava bars opening up across the entire United States. There's tons in Florida. There's a few in Utah. I know that they got some in California and stuff like that. So I know that kava bars are getting big, and I think it's because of the camaraderie and the just good environment that kava brings. Makes you loose enough to be able to open up and talk about some good conversations. I think it never makes you like aggressive. No matter how faded you get, you're never like super aggressive like alcohol will make you,
Right.
or super like emotional. So kava usually keeps you pretty level headed in that way. And I think it's just grown so big because people are tired of alcohol and they're wanting another something else that gives them kind of that same feeling, but you can still have your head on and you don't get the hangovers like you did with alcohol and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I agree with you. I do think too that because kava is ingrained in the culture of Polynesian people, Tongan Samoans, that because we're in the States where we are farther from the island, where we are trying to, in some instance, keep those same practices, that it does make me feel more in tune with my culture. It does make, like, I'm around people who are like me. I'm around Polynesians, and it does make me feel like, you know what I mean? It really makes you feel home and welcome, and it's, I mean, kava's not anything too crazy. I like it, but I really do enjoy the times, the memories, the conversations that are shared around the bowl.
Yeah, because with this, I have met my deepest and like my closest circle just drinking this.
Yeah.
Like if I think about it now, the people that I hang around with when I drank back then, I don't even talk to any of them. But I talk to just the people that I mix around with. And with kava, it kind of like it was kind of cool because like I started out with Tao's house.
Yeah.
And all I heard was just Samoan words. And, back then I didn't understand. So I kind of like forced myself to learn some Samoan words.
And you almost just pick it up because you're around it so much. You know what I mean?
And it's crazy too because like now I can kind of pick up Tongan words. And so like for example, like Misi was talking yesterday, our prez, he was talking yesterday and I could just like understand bits and pieces. And like everybody was laughing. I was laughing. And then one of your uncle,
They just look at you, they're like, it wasn't funny.
hey, bro, don't be dropping uncles like that, bro. We're gonna cut that out.
But yeah, he looked at me and like he was just like, "Oh, do you understand?" And Tony told him, And Rambo was talking to me in like Tongan, and like I understood. And he talks to me in Samoan, I understood. It's crazy how like it pulls you in, and like it shows you your deepest, your deepest roots and where you came from, and like all the history around it.
Yeah, I agree.
And this is the one thing I could spend like literally like 10 hours doing, like sitting down and doing, and just have like the time of my life. Not the time of my life, but like have a good time, you know?
It's like, it's super like cool to like see different sides of people and like talk to people. And it's crazy the people that you meet that like when you're mixing. Like I've met some people that I wouldn't have met unless I mixed. Like especially you three, I probably would not have met you guys unless I went to the mix. You know what I'm saying? So I think it brings a lot of people together that you wouldn't even know. I mean, I've even had a few mixes that I didn't really care to go too much, but my wife was like, hey, who's all going to be there? And I would tell her, oh, the owner of this company or something. And she'd be like, you need to go just so you can meet them. And then end up going to his house, and then he actually talks about a podcast, and he has his own, and he like gave me tips and tricks and all that stuff. Like it's just weird how that kind of stuff works out to where Kava brings you people.
It's a huge networking thing.
Huge
like,
networking thing.
You'll meet a lot of people through mixing.
Yeah, well, up in KavaCon, there's like a few hundred people that work.
Oh, there's like 200 to 300 people, a good 200 to 300.
Yeah, it's crazy, the community, and that's just in Utah mostly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, but there are negatives about it, though. I mean, I've never had this, but I mean, there's medical stuff out there that says it could be bad for your liver and stuff like that.
Yep.
But alcohol's bad for your liver too.
I was just gonna say though, anything in excess amount is bad for you. I mean,
Exactly.
you can drink too much water and literally drown yourself. And you can get bloated, and anything in excess that's why, I don't know. The studies I've seen is like, there's been a couple of people who have died because of liver failure, and they've been excessive mixers. But again, you can die from anything you take too much of.
I saw on WebMD that like 2 weeks prior to having a surgery, you're not supposed to mix. Like they're saying we recommend you not mixing. Yeah.
How credible is that?
I don't know. I don't know how WebMD is, but I don't know. Yeah, I guess if you mix within the 2 week period, they give you anesthesia. You just wake up the next day and Jesus will be bottling a bucket. Hey,
Damn, that's serious.
welcome. No, I don't think so.
No, I'm about to say.
Hey, welcome to the other side. Yeah, WebMD does say that. I don't know if WebMD is a credible source. I don't know if it's like Wikipedia,
Yeah.
but
yeah, I don't know. Like you said, anything excessive is bad for you. So I mean, as long as you keep it under control, I've never had any problems with it.
No.
But
I mean, I do have like ashy skin.
I don't think that's the Kava. I think that's just you.
hey, I get it too, bro. Screw this. They don't sandpaper.
Yeah, that was rough.
But no, it's weird though. I was actually talking to a couple guys last night about it. My hands get super dry, but then the rest of my body's fine. I guess my shins and calves, but that's pretty normal to have ashy.
Don't you think
in
your hands
general.
could be really rough though, because you work with your hands doing
on
all
my
that work?
laptop or what?
Just before, I mean,
When he clapped at the
I don't know, when you're straining.
I mean, maybe my calluses are coming off, but it's weird. Like I have a line like right there on the outside of my hand of just like dry skin trying to peel off. It's weird.
Damn.
Yeah. So I caked the out of my hand with lotion. Yeah, a little lotion.
Sucks.
Huh?
That sucks.
The worst hands I've ever seen though is Hema. You guys remember Hema?
Hema.
Big Hema.
Bad hands.
His hands, I'm shaking his hand. I'm like, that's a rock. It's not even sandpaper anymore.
Oh,
But-
No.
man.
Tim.
Oh, I don't remember Tim's hand.
Tim straight up 80 grit sandpaper. It's bad.
It gives you a nice buff on your palm.
I shake his head. My hand's all polished and brand new and ready for paint.
But no, yeah, I mean, if you just drink water, it's supposed to help with that. But so yeah, it does dry you out. I have noticed too when I mix a lot. Like one night, if I weigh myself the next morning after I just got done using the restroom, I'll always be lighter because it dries your body out. So you have no water weight in you.
What if you measure yourself after?
So it makes you taller. So, right? Studies show that it increases
shrinks
height.
you.
Oh, okay.
I've been mixing a lot. I grow like 3 inches this year. Don't
This
ask me
year
that
so
question
far.
again.
We're still on the first month.
Yeah, that was not a very polite question.
Just keep lobbing them up and up.
Knocking them out the park.
Oh man.
I wish it made you taller. I'd be like 7 feet right now.
Damn.
Yeah, you do mix a lot.
Yes, he does.
You mix a lot.
No, okay.
Don't look at me. I thought we were gonna say
All
we
right.
shook hands
But
and
really,
everything. He goes, no, but really, I was perfectly fine out of the conversation.
Another thing that's different between cultures too is the amount that you drink. So like
really?
when I mix with, this only happened a few times, but I have a Fijian buddy. When I mixed with his dad up in Salt Lake, they mix the waka in, so it's pretty thick and potent.
Yeah.
But they do like tiny cups, like almost like shots. And so
I
you
can't do
drink
I
it.
would hate that.
Yeah.
But in the Tongan and Samoans, like we fill our cups pretty
Yeah.
full.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get straight to the point. I don't want to keep tasting
Well,
it.
no,
just for fun.
theirs is so potent that you almost get it just as fast.
Well, I mean, if you think of like alcohol, like if you take shots of those, you
I mean,
kinda-
those are.
So if
yeah.
Yeah.
you're mixing it, kind of
So
full
you're
like
saying
that.
Waka is like liquor and Kava's like beer?
Yeah, I guess you could say it like that. Waka is still kava though. Waka,
I just mean okay, yeah, but a different strain.
Okay, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So it's
that
stronger
makes
strain.
sense because Waka fucking sucks. Like,
Yeah, if you drink waka like we drink our regular stuff, you like
Die.
hurt.
so
the
we're
next
supposed to
day.
be just taking shots of it.
huh?
We were supposed to just be taking shots of.
Yeah.
Waka.
So when you drink waka, most guys it's not even a full ladle. It's like half a ladle
Damn.
because it's just so potent and it knocks you on your ass. But so yeah, I think that's weird too. And another thing too, every culture with kava has like different ceremonies with it. So I know the Fijians. They do like a sevu sevu, which is like you present gifts to each other around the bowl. Whoever the host is, you give them a sevu sevu and you say, "Hey, appreciate you."
Appreciate you.
Thanks.
And you give them like you either give them kava or you give them something else. Most of the time it's kava, and then you like say who you are, your ancestries, and then they like accept the gift, say who they are and their kalapu and all that, and then it's done.
Oh, that's a good point. What's a kalapu? You want to go into that?
Kalapu in English is just club. So it's just like a guy's club. So
Right.
Kalapu is where a bunch of guys who don't have much to do with their lives go and hang out. Just kidding. No, it's actually a really good environment. It's a good place. So it's like a safe haven or something.
Yeah, just like what
Guys'
you said,
night.
it's a great way to meet everybody.
Yeah, so we'll have, I mean, last Wednesday in our Kalapu, so we're Kalapu United, most of us, you're Kalapu Rams.
Sorry.
In
I thought my
St.
mic was
George,
muted.
in St. George, Utah. So if you guys ever pull through, come check us out. But no, yeah, Wednesday, I think I counted the amount of cups we went through. We had like 30 dudes come through that night.
Gee.
There's a lot. Oh, you didn't come, huh?
No,
You
I
were
didn't
out.
show up.
No, he didn't.
Dude,
What a waste.
even yesterday was pretty packed
Yeah, I don't.
to the point where I had to bring the table and sit on the table.
There's a lot of visitors.
It's bad.
It's like the whole last table?
No, the one from the back
Oh,
with the microwave.
that makes sense. I thought you just took like one of the circle tables.
No, fuck you guys.
They're trying to play poker on it.
Just for me.
It's on the middle.
Damn, selfish ass dude.
I need somewhere to sit.
But no, yeah, I think it's good. A lot of guys just come hang out. I call it my guys' night. My wife has her girls' night, so that my guys' night is I just go and mix. Don't get too faded. You can still drive after mixing too, so
easily.
that's super nice and super convenient. Because yeah, we'll do that forever. I almost have a harder time driving when I'm super tired after the mix than the fade.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But no, yeah, that's what a klapu is. We just bunch of guys go hang out. It kind of sounds super boring when you describe it to people.
It sounds
though.
gay.
Like sometimes I tell people, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to a guy's night. Oh, what are you doing? I mean, I'm just gonna mix. Oh, what do you do? I'm just sit around a table, 15 of us, and we're just gonna talk. And they're like, That's it.
But it's different once you're in the environment.
Well, yeah,
it's
so weird.
different. Everything changes.
Yeah,
It is
exactly.
weird.
Yeah.
Those 15 dudes, there's like 4 conversations going around.
Yeah, it gets hectic sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
With like
dude.
this, like hundreds of fucking conversation going around.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
I hate that too.
Yeah.
But it is weird to explain to people. Like Cece didn't like it, or I guess she didn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't know why I wanted to go on Wednesdays, and then we did one at my house. I think it was like right before your birthday, actually,
Yeah.
and loved it. The environment, everything, like just being there, talking, like just you know what I mean. Listening to music, just connecting.
Mm-hmm.
It's just real. It's different. It's a different hangout. So
No, yeah, it's a good vibe for sure.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. It also helps, like, say you're addicted to alcohol, like, it also is like a substitute. Like, you could use it and
I
quit things easier.
maybe
You think so?
Yeah,
don't
when I
know.
was deep into alcohol, this helped a lot.
Oh really? Oh yeah, because you didn't have anybody to mix with out there. Yeah.
Nah, yeah, it's just me by myself.
If you had at least 3 to 4 Polynesians out there, would you have stopped drinking earlier?
Yeah, I probably would have. I don't think I would have been into drinking that much, but I think it helps.
Yeah, it does. I'd say it does kick some habits.
So Kava has obviously evolved with the how we do it, how we make it, how we sit, and a few of those types of things. So like one of the ways they used to do it back in the day is they would actually eat the root. Like they would have kids or beautiful women like eat the root, and then they would spit it out, and then that's what you would like use to drink. And I think you said this, they use kids because they have cleaner mouths.
right. Typically disease free.
Yeah. And then pretty women, just because some guys like pretty women. So, but then after that, they started making it like we make tea commonly in the United States with a bag. And you kind of just put the powder in the bag and you squeeze it. Some people use like a cheesecloth. Some people use a paint thinner, strainer, something like that. So you squeeze it out. And once all the kava is into the water, then you can pull whatever's left out, throw it in the garbage. And so that's how we were doing it for a long time until not too long ago. And now they got washing machines that you can put your kava in the same strainer bag, put it in the machine, turn it on, and then it'll have your kava done in like 10, 15 minutes. And you don't have to do anything like that.
Technology.
Another thing that mixing has like evolved is the way we sit. A lot of the time at the beginning, you used to sit on the floor.
Thank God we don't do that.
Bro, my hips could not handle.
Dead ass.
No, yeah, dude. I remember like your knees weak, arms are sweaty, kind of shit. Like your knees actually hurt so bad. And I remember one time I was mixing with my legs crossed, and like I was young. I was like 15 or so, and I remember I like opened up, like I like put both of my legs like out. You know what I'm saying? Because my shit was hurting, so I was leaning back, and I remember my dad was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "What? My freaking back and legs hurt." He's like, "That's like inviting to old men." And I was like,
Oh, yo, at 15.
I was like, "Hey, bro." So ever since then, I cross my legs and I'm on the ground. Like I don't,
What the-
or
I've
like
never
I'll
heard
lay
that.
one leg out straight and one bent and then the other way. Like I don't know why. I just remember my dad telling me that. But now obviously we can sit in couches and chairs and
Yeah.
have tables. Like
A little
'cause-
more modern.
yeah,
Because before, when we sat on the little wooden chairs, like I
Shitty.
would always try to find a wall. Like
Oh,
I would always
Yeah.
reserve my spot at the wall. But it's like a respect thing when the OGs are there, when the older guys are there. The younger ones got to sit in the middle by the bowl so they can pass cups. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I would always be the younger one sitting over there, nothing against my back. Unless
That
like
shit sucks.
unless like Ruben's there, so then me and him will sit back to back.
Yeah, yeah.
But other than that, it just kills your back by the end of the night.
the one thing I thought was always hella molded is we would sit on the floor, and I would sit at the bottom of a couch and lean against the couch. I'm like, what the frick? Like, I can't just sit on the damn couch.
All the guys sitting right above you, just sitting between them.
Just massaging me.
Inviting me.
This is inviting.
But yeah, so that's evolved. The cups and the way we pass cups has changed. One of the older ways that they used to do it is they would drink out of the coconut cups and then throw them across the mat. And
That
they
sounds
would just,
super disrespectful. Like,
Yeah, it does.
yeah. And they would just rinse them off in the water and then pass it off. I've heard of people when like talking to people about it. Like some people would throw their cup and it would like hit like 3 people's feet while it was rolling to the thing.
Ugh.
And then they just rinse that
Just
shit in
dip
the
it in
water.
Yeah, because I
Rinse
know
it
in
the water.
in like the ceremonial thing in Samoan, I'm pretty sure in Tonga too, is that you would use the same cup, but you would have somebody grab the cup, a girl grab the cup and then bring it to you, and then once you're done, you give it back to her instead of throwing the cup.
Yeah, so very traditional. It's like a respect thing. Like they'll have a adult or a young lady come in and like serve you that way, almost like a waitress. at
Yeah,
a
but like
table.
throwing the cup is just super disrespectful.
Yeah, and now we just obviously have cups. I mean, we want to get some more coconut cups. We've had a few that break, but now you can use really whatever, and you just pass from the outside in. So we start at the very last guy. He passes his cup first and the second last. That way, when the guy is serving, they can go back in the same order they came. And then that way, if a first guy passes cup and then he's trying to drink and people are passing cups, it doesn't work. So that's why we start at the back. Typically, it'll kind of just split. So the 2 very back guys want to go one way, one guy will go the other way. Because we typically will sit in a circle. Even when we were sitting on the floors, it was always in a circle. It was That's one thing about the Polynesians I've always noticed is it's always very including, and so we don't ever make someone like sit off somewhere. Like usually, I mean, in our office it's a little bit different, but usually if the circle is not big enough and someone's trying to get in, the circle just gets bigger. They just kind of push out a little bit so that they can feel involved. So yeah, so the seating, the cups, chasers has evolved. I think most of it's personal like development. I think we've all kind of talked off camera about the type of chasers we used to use when we were younger, talking about candy was a big one back then, and now there's not a chance in hell.
No.
I'll still do candy with
I
lihimoy
won't.
on it. Oof.
Well, you'll do what?
Candy with lihimoy.
I've done that. It's not my favorite.
I still think I prefer chips. Something
Yeah.
saltier.
Chips and cowtails. You know the candy, the cowtails.
Yeah,
one?
with the little white stuff on the inside.
those are good.
I always just like push the white part out and just stick my tongue through.
Because
With the cowtail?
I don't know.
You guys never done that?
No.
they're like this long.
No, I'm talking about the little like
Oh, I know.
small
what you're
ones.
talking- yeah,
I thought
know
that
what
was a cowtail.
No.
Oh,
Yeah, I
hell
know
no.
what
My
you're
tongue
talking
ain't that long.
I'm about to say.
But no, yeah, I think the way we chase is different because I couldn't even imagine having you don't use chasers, but on the island way back then they didn't use chasers. You just drink it and that's it. I mean, now I like to chase with water. I mean, you said you like chips. You'll chase with pretty much anything or
Anything.
what?
Monsters,
use-
really.
That's one thing that's actually kind of weird to me is chasing with Monster because you're almost like trying to get faded, like relax and all that with Kava, and then you're using a Monster to chase. Like,
Yeah, but for me, it never works. I just drink it for the taste.
I agree, and I'm the same way. But like logically, like when I tell people that, they're like, "That makes no."
Yeah, I
sense.
can see
You're trying
that.
to relax, and then you're like finishing a whole Monster.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
can
funny.
see that.
But yeah. Another thing too, with Kava, a traditional thing is to mix in like a kumete, like a wooden bowl like this. This is a very small one. There are bigger ones. I have a couple that are like 30 inches in diameter, so they're big. They hold almost 10 gallons. So this is very traditional to do. They started doing this in the islands. When I started ordering mine, actually, I ordered it from Fiji, and they carved it in Tonga. They carved it in Tonga, and then they sent it over. So this is pretty traditional in the United States. We don't have access to a lot of this. So most of the time, you just mix in a bucket or I've seen totes. I've seen in hotel like the trash cans. I've mixed in those before.
What?
Those are
Yeah.
actually pretty clean.
Yeah. Well,
A hotel's trash can.
Yeah, you still
Yeah.
like the little ones.
Oh, those ones.
Yeah,
like
and
the
so
dumpster.
you
The one on,
Yeah,
the
I
one
was
on the
thinking like
sink.
the big ass ones
Oh,
that
no.
like.
no. So I've done that. Obviously you gotta wash it because you don't know what's been in there. But,
Yeah.
So yeah.
The other tradition is that when you prepare the kava, we call it paluing. It's typically the youngest one, or the youngest, or like one of the younger, the young bucks or whatever. Me, like I've always like stuck to that tradition. If I'm mixing with like the OGs and stuff, I do not like it when I see the OGs get up and mix, and there's the younger guys than me, so I'll get up and I'll tell them sit down and I'll follow it. But it's just like what we've been saying. It's just out of that respect level, just having the older guys just sit back, relax, like they came to do, and the younger guys just go and follow it, and then just prepare for everybody else.
That
Yeah.
also is the same with guests, right? Guests shouldn't follow the bag.
Guests should never follow the
Yeah.
bag. They should never.
They should be there to enjoy themselves
Exactly.
and be involved. But yeah,
Yeah. And you can just push it and I'll keep talking. It's okay. But no, I've actually there's been a lot of controversy of that, especially from like I noticed a little bit younger than like our age. They really like do not like that.
They
Yeah.
throw a fit,
They like get pissed.
and it
So
makes me
annoying.
mad.
I've had some of them that they're like, "Oh, you need to pay me," and I'm like,
And so
"Bruh,
that's why
you didn't even
remember that
pay
one
to get
time.
in here."
There's like people like button heads on following the bucket,
Yeah.
and then I saw that you were gonna do it, and so I told you we were gonna switch off. Like that night, I was kind of low key, kind of irritated, just because like I've been around the Phi Kava for so many years where it's always the youngest one.
Well, and I like everyone has to do their due diligence, if you will. Like when I was younger and I was mixing with the country rams up in northern Utah, I made a lot of buckets. Like that's just what it was. I mean, there's another guy who would do a lot of buckets as well, but us two were definitely the youngest ones, and you just do it,
Yeah.
and it's not that big of a deal. It's just like if you want to mix, part of mixing is you have to have someone follow it, and so I don't get the whole thing when people like complain about it. But another thing too is in Kalapus, and we talked about that previously, is there's usually like a presidency. So you'll have your president, your vice president, and your secretary. And typically your president's not supposed to. Like the president's not they're supposed to serve and sit at the front, and so they're not supposed to also follow at the same time. I mean, most presidents who open up, if they get there first, they'll do the first however much. Like, so when I open up, I usually do like 10 gallons. But after that, I shouldn't have to.
Because you're the president for the Kalapu United, right?
Yeah. So, but I don't know. And I've even had, because I was still making kava a couple of times, and a couple of the OGs were seeing our young members and just were like hella pissed.
Yeah.
They were just like, these dudes are hella disrespectful, and they're not like listening to them or whatever. And so I mean, it's been brought up, and actually I think a lot of our younger guys, especially since you two had that thing where I think you made a comment of like, well, I'll just do it since the young guys don't want to, or something like that. And ever since then, I haven't had many problems with it.
Yeah.
I've actually been pretty good with it.
But yeah, it's just out of that respect level. It's just I don't like seeing them, come to enjoy, especially the guests, and then they'll get up and have to prepare for everybody else. You know, that's another thing about like the guest is that we say the word fahi.
Yeah.
The guest can use that against the kalapus. Like for instance, like if the Rams had a guest come over for the Rams night and they followed it, they can go back and then use that for, we call it ammunition.
Yeah.
Say, oh yeah, I went down to St. George and had a really good time. Went down there and I followed the cover for them because and then they'll add their little twist because they don't know how to.
Yeah.
Things like that. That's why I never let the guests do it.
Or even like I've heard if visitors stay longer than the Kawapu, it's like
I've heard that
they can
one.
do stuff like, oh, I drink them under the table,
Yeah.
or like they couldn't hang or they couldn't give me enough or whatever.
Yep.
Because especially as like a president, you're supposed to like host and supposed to like give all the visitors that. And that sometimes is tough. So we mix obviously on Wednesdays. We're a younger club where we all have work the next day. So a lot of the members actually leave early. But as the president, you're supposed to stay and give your guests the amount of kava that they want. Especially as long as they throw in. If they don't throw in, I don't really care too much. But if they throw in and he's like, hey, I want another bucket, like, let's do it. Like, it's just part of it. So, but we all been mixing for quite a while now. I mean, I know we've talked a little bit off camera. We all started about in high school, right?
Yeah, sophomore year.
Yeah. And so what was your guys' first experiences like?
My first one, I didn't get drunk. I didn't get faded. Like, I thought it was a waste of time because I was hanging out with a bunch of old people. Only one of them was, I think he was like a grade under me. We just hung out. And it was pretty boring. And then the second night, I got super drunk. It was like unrealistic because I was so young. I don't think I should have been that drunk.
Yeah, mine was just like I was bored because I was mixing with a bunch of people I didn't know. I was on my phone the whole night. I didn't get any of the jokes, and everybody was speaking Tongan, so I didn't understand. Some people were speaking Samoan, so I didn't understand. And so I was just pretty much just sitting there just drinking. And then it was almost like a year later, we were mixing with you. And then like we'd go to, like two streets over and mix with them, like people our age group.
Right.
And it was just, it was better.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. I don't think I had the same experience as y'all did because I started mixing with people my age.
Yeah, that's a better way to go.
Yeah, and it was like, we lived over by the high school, all three of us, not Vil. He was
I lived
there.
by another school.
Yeah. 6 hours away. But I didn't really do much as far as like kick it at my house. And then found out y'all lived next to me and kind of started off that way. So I think that my first experience was really, it was a positive one just because conversations, jokes, laughs, everything that we experience now when we go to Wednesday nights, I experienced the first time.
Yeah.
And so I didn't think I'd ever mix again. Yeah.
Because you took that long break, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I just didn't really care for it, but I don't know. I guess it's when you moved back and I started coming around, and then I realized I didn't miss Kava, but I missed I missed the talking,
The
I missed
hanging out.
Talking, the jokes,
yeah. But yeah, I think my first one was a good experience.
But I will say though that mixing with the older guys, it kind of like opened up my eyes to like a whole different world of fight kava. Like we've been saying, there's certain things you can't say. There's like if you do say, you gotta watch your tone. Kind of like respect the elders in there, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so if I was still mixing with the same people we were mixing with back then, I think my respect level would have been way different. Because like the people I was mixing with down the street, or not down the street, like a couple blocks over, like we would just do anything. Like we would I remember we were mixing one time, and then we came outside and there was a fight going on, and then we go back inside and then we like everybody would still talk shit. But mixing with the older guys, like you're just there to have fun.
Yeah. When we did mix too, we would play cards. We'd
Right.
play trumps. We'd play spades. We'd play video games. just a little bit more of a younger version. I do wish that after I got introduced to mixing, that I would have gone around a little bit more of the OGs, because I think I would have had a different perspective carried out. I don't know. Maybe I would have mixed continuously instead of stopping. I don't know. But I do think that it is beneficial to mix with the OGs. Do hear all those stories and origin stories or anything.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and just the tradition is you get to feel that tradition that you don't feel if you're mixing around cards or whatever. Like, even when those guys are playing poker sometimes at the office, I actually really don't mind it. But when it's going on, I notice those talks kind of stop.
They do.
Because
The talks stop. Yeah, everybody's looking at the game.
Yeah.
And then what I hate the most when they play poker is that there's like they play it in a different way. Like they play 3 different ways, and then they argue for like half an hour, 45 minutes, and everybody's heads is just
which
like nobody else is talking.
A lot of guys are getting faded, so I mean, that's another thing. As I've noticed, a lot of guys when they get faded, some guys don't talk.
I stop. I completely stop.
It's hard to
have to.
It's hard to keep the jokes up when you're faded.
Yeah,
Like,
your facial expression just changes. It's not the same.
The energy at like 7:30 versus 11 o'clock is
yeah.
there's a huge difference.
Or even like when you make those mixes and they're like, it's like 6 a.m. and there's just like 4 more rounds and everyone's just toughing it out. Everyone's just like sleeping.
Yeah.
But one thing I do love about mixing is a lot of the time guys will bring like a guitars or a uke and just like jam.
Love that.
Oh man.
I mean, none of us are Mariah Carey or nothing, but there are a few guys who can sing pretty good. And even if like I'm just chilling and just watching them and hanging out, it's just fun. The vibe is good. There was a couple Hawaiian dudes on Saturday that were jamming, and
that was nice.
It was cool. Like, and you can tell those two been going for a minute. Like he was good at everything, dude. And they were playing like song after song after song. But it's also a place where guys who don't know how to play can like practice, and I think that's cool as well. But no, I like that part a lot.
Even if you're not good at singing, like everybody sings.
I was gonna say,
you know the song, you'll sing.
Yeah, I was gonna say like it also like surprises you. Like you'll never see like you'll hang out with one person for however long, but then when they sing, when they take the lead, like you hear their voice and it's just like, oh damn, I didn't know this dude can sing. Especially when they hit the high notes or when they hit that riff. That to me it just gives me the chills.
Yeah.
I will never take lead. I don't.
That's why Bill will always take lead.
This guy's the worst kind. He literally is like, "Hey, bro, start singing," and I'll jump in. Start singing, I hear silence. Oh my god!
He starts singing
it. It's funny though, because only when I'm mixing is when I feel confident singing in front of people. I'm not gonna sing in front of you guys if we're just chilling and a guitar gets brought out. Like that's just not me. But as soon as the Kava gets, I'm getting a little bit of a fade on and feeling good. Because also when I'm faded, I don't really care. Like I don't. I just don't care what people think. It's just fun for me, so I just do it. I actually do enjoy singing.
Yeah.
Like when I'm driving, like I enjoy it. But yeah, I would not do it like if we're just chilling, like how we always chill. If we're not mixing, I would not be singing. So I think music is a big part of it.
I don't know why, but doing that without, like jamming without the Kava, I feel like that's so moded. It's kind of cringe.
You feel like you're out of tune.
What are you trying to do?
This is like a weird thing. I don't know.
Yeah, it is uncomfortable to think about. I mean, but I guess that's what a studio is. But
yeah, but it's because like they're actually talented at singing. If someone was just no bucket, bring out the guitar, I'd have troubles. Like
I look at it like if someone was like, "Hey, you want to come over and sing at my house?" I have a couple guys who are gonna come. Like, we're not a band, dude. I'm not doing that.
What are we, the Backstreet Boys?
No, I think music is a big part of it, though. I mean, even when we're just playing music on the speaker, people will start singing.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool. I think the vibe is cool that way.
That's the best feeling when you're DJ and you play one song and everybody's singing.
I agree.
You just sit there like, okay, yep, that's to the playlist.
Yeah.
I love that.
I ain't gonna lie. Most of the songs I play, if I look around like I'm always looking around to see if I see people like bobbing or like
Yeah.
feeling it. Because if no one's feeling it, I'm like, okay, delete that crap off this playlist. That sucks so
Then
bad.
why do you play Trey songs like 3 times a night?
Oh, Trey Songz.
Yeah,
I don't have Trey Songz on my playlist.
you played
You
that.
played it like
on Wednesday,
yeah,
yeah.
I was playing your playlist.
Trey songs?
No,
I
not
was-
this last Wednesday. It's been a couple times. There was one because I'll sing to it. I like the song.
I'll have to see what songs it is. 'Cause I don't think I have Trey Songz on that.
It's called
Yeah.
"Don't Want to
Oh.
Come Down."
Actually, on my SoundCloud, when I'm playing SoundCloud, it's not my play. It's just random songs.
Oh,
And I'm a terrible DJ. Like, I don't care. Like, I just push play and then just let it go.
See,
Like,
now
I
that
know Mussy, I know Ruben, I know those guys will like pin songs.
now that you say that, like when you're DJ, you like just look around for people who bob their heads. I'm just gonna purposely just go like that. Every
Well,
time,
This song
I'm just gonna wait
I've
for you to
heard
look
you
at me.
already.
Gosh,
Fuck this DJ.
This guy is the biggest turnaround guy. I heard him. This the best DJ. 2 songs later, man. Like this DJ. Oh, like, frick. Pick one.
You gotta bring him up and then humble him.
So the only other thing I guess I would like to talk about Kava, because obviously we're about like different perspectives and talking about it, is how do you guys as women perceive you going to mix? Like, do they care? Do they not care? Like, where are you at, Ryan?
They don't care that I mix. It really
said
depends.
they
It's just
don't.
she. It's just she, bro.
They
Cut that out.
1, 2, and 3. They don't
Number
care.
1, she gets pissed. But the other one,
Number 2, cool with it.
That's staying in.
what a guy they. When I grow up. Yeah, go ahead and
my
drink
brother.
go ahead and drink so you don't have to keep talking. Anyway, so they don't get that mad.
So yeah, she doesn't care, but she only cares like when she wants to hang out. It's not the mixing. Mixing doesn't matter.
So it's a time commitment almost.
Yeah.
That's one thing about mixing is sometimes we will mix
Mm-hmm.
for like, I mean, I don't know what you guys' longest are. I know I've mixed over 12 hours before.
Yeah.
That is
Which
insane.
is one thing is like we're not gonna be hanging out all night, you know. But like if I go mix, I'm gonna be using that time to mix. Like, but if I hang out with you, we're just gonna sleep at 9. Like, so it's pick and choose. But
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of the same way. Sometimes I'll even put my wife and my kids to sleep, and leave the house at like 10:30 even, and get to the office at like 11 or so. And because she's already sleeping, kids are sleeping. But my thing and my wife, what she cares about is if I can get up and handle my stuff the next day. Because if I don't get up and I don't handle my stuff, then she gets pissed.
understandable.
So, which is 100% understandable. So that's where my wife sits. She doesn't care as long as I'm just able to handle my responsibilities.
Yeah.
I'm not slacking off as a father, as a provider, or anything like that. So what about you, Gage?
For me, I mentioned it before. It was a little bit new for CC just because of the cultural differences. But as I started going and as I started explaining to her, and like she was like, "Oh, what happened?" We're like, "Oh, we just tell jokes, we tell stories, we just talk." She didn't care at all that I would go, but she would care that I would leave. That's the only thing. So she want me to be home. She want to spend time with me, obviously. So like every time I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna head over to Ryan's. Oh, I'm gonna head over to Ville's." She's like, "Oh, do they ever want to come over here and mix?" Because she would much rather have that. So she doesn't care about the mixing. It's just the fact that I'm leaving. Yeah.
Yeah, Lexi said that same thing. She would rather me do low key
Right.
mixes at my house just
Yep.
because she at least gets to see me. But I don't know. There's something about a brotherhood that to me is like I love my wife more than anything and my kids. But there's something about being at with the brotherhood that's just I don't know, almost healing. I guess like to have that relationship.
Yeah.
So.
What about you, Robert?
Roxanne hates it when I leave the house.
So yeah, Robert, you're not
My
currently
sister
dating-
freaking loves it when I go.
My mom tells me.
My mom tells me bring the car back home.
So yeah, you're not currently dating anyone, but have your past girlfriends ever cared or no?
Hell yeah.
Oh,
Do I care? No.
What a beast.
If I dated you though, because you mix like 2 times a day throughout the whole
that's a
week,
good.
right?
That's a
True.
good point.
I won't fight that because, yeah, I do.
You mix a lot.
It's quite a bit.
But hey,
Like,
speaking of
that's-
mixing a
I'm
lot,
I'm kind of worried.
speaking of mixing a lot, like what I've want to do, or like, I'm pretty sure you guys have heard of like heavyweight championship of mixing, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why it's a effed up goal, but I want that.
I'm not built like that. I can't do that.
That's congrats for you, bro.
We're
There's
not
a
built the same.
chance.
I want that belt, and if anybody challenges me, hell no.
We're definitely cut from different cloths. I can't do that.
No, but yeah, my past ones, they would want me to stay home and drink versus go and mix. For me, mixing it's almost therapeutic
Yeah.
because like
Yeah.
100%.
because I'll meet people there that I'll meet for the first time, and then some of them would open up and talk about that, and then I would open up just because I'll never see that person again, and it's just I don't know, just talking about it. It's a lot better. I can't do that at home
Yeah.
or at my other house.
Speaking about like therapeutic though, like I have been at mixes because we fought here on each other a lot. Like that's part of it. We make fun of each other, but I've been a part of a lot of mixes where it gets like deep. Like we talk
Yeah.
about some cool things, and I hope we have some videos where we get to kind of show that side. Like I've seen people get emotional. I've seen like guys cry. I've seen. I've been at a mix where we all like prayed together because like our religion we had the spirit like coming over us, and we felt very.
Pause.
Anyway, you're not
Anyways,
there.
the spirit's coming over you guys.
The spirit is coming over us, and don't ever say pause again. That's a one-way ticket to hell,
Sorry,
bro.
Lord. Hey, Lord.
But no, like I've been to those mixes where it's like almost spiritual. I've had some moments in mixes where I've felt more like overwhelmed with the spirit than I have at church sometimes. So I do think it's therapeutic because I've been to those mixes where people open up and get deep.
That doesn't surprise me though, because like even at the Samoan branch and the Polynesian branches, the bishopric will mix.
Yeah.
They'll go to the mix.
Yeah.
And they'll still preach the same thing that they're talking about. Still behave the same way. So I do. It's not hard to believe that you can still receive a pretty in-depth gospel message.
Yep. And I mean, usually though, those kind of mixes has to be a little bit like low key, not as many people.
Oh, yeah.
You're
there's
right.
Yeah.
when there's a ton of people, it usually doesn't get that crazy. But when there's only 4 or 5 people, then I feel like it gets pretty deep pretty fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why low-key mixes are the best.
They are great. I love them.
Mm-hmm.
So
I used to like the crowd.
Okay, yeah,
Because there was like a lot of people there.
I was like that because I'd see everybody all in one area.
Yeah.
But then now that I think about it, like I didn't really talk back then. Like I couldn't talk because everybody else was just. If I was talking to you like in this tone, everybody else was just talking over me, and then
And drown you
like
out.
yeah, we can't even hear each other, and then we'd stop the conversation. Even though it's a good conversation, we'll just stop it, and then we'll never pick it back up.
Yeah.
That's why I love the low key mixes now.
yeah,
And it is very therapeutic, especially like when you go and talk to people that are having the same problems that you are. Like just having people to relate to. And there's so many people, like you'll find one person.
Yeah.
well, I've even like last night I was mixing with a guy, and it was interesting. It was cool because we got to talk. It was just me and him because people bailed on us, but it was just me and him, late as heck. We're both faded, and it was kind of cool because we started talking about like parenting and like being a good father and being a good husband, and getting that different perspective from people is good for you to be able to like
Benefit
open
off
up and learn from, because no one's perfect. Obviously, we all know that, but to see a guy open up in that kind of way, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
To open up yourself in that kind of way is pretty cool, and you don't get that in most scenarios. I mean, I guess in therapy, but really, other than that, no one's gonna open up to you randomly about like, so I think I did this good as a father. I don't think I did this good as a father.
Yeah, you're right.
But I do think that mixing just gives people the comfort, and it's like a huge safe haven.
Thanks for joining us today. We talked a lot about Kava and where it came from and our perspective on it and what it's done for our lives, and we're very grateful. So look us up, Muddy Roots Podcast. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, a lot of those platforms. So give us a follow, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and we will catch you guys on the next one. Thank you guys.
Chee-hoo.